Apple releases a new iOS version every year, and with each new version comes a mix of new features and enhancements, as well as the infamous bug fixes that make older versions useless. Every year, it's the same story. iOS gets a facelift that makes it look more appealing and polished, but at the same time, it has bugs that bite users and slows down performance. That is, until now. This year, Apple released iOS 16.3 with a bang. Not only does it bring new features and enhancements, but it also comes with an all-new security model that finally makes it possible to securely lock down your device. Let's see what's new in iOS 16.3, as well as how you can optimize your iPhone experience to get the most out of it. Top features. With iOS 16.3, Apple claims that your phone will perform better than ever before. Whether you're playing games, using apps, or just surfing the web, iOS 16.3 offers an improved experience thanks to a handful of under-the-hood updates that enhance hardware and software interactions. The biggest change is that iOS now uses a new GPU, which enhances performance for a more fluid and responsive experience. Additionally, the update includes software optimizations to cut down on battery life and data usage, as well as the addition of new APIs to expose more hardware capabilities to developers. Keyboard enhancements. Not only did Apple change the underlying security model of iOS, but they also updated the UI of the keyboard to make it easier to perform actions and access features. Before the release of iOS 16.3, hitting the Enter key on an iPhone or iPad would automatically open a keyboard and begin typing. Now, you have to tap Enter to open the keyboard and then begin typing. This change makes it simpler for users to enter information into their devices without having to think about it too much. Similarly, tapping the Menu key now brings up the options for that keyboard, rather than having to search it manually once the keyboard is open. These are slight changes that make a world of difference when using a keyboard, especially in the case of the iPad, where there are a lot of keys to hit if you're trying to get something done. New security model. Before iOS 16.3, entering a passcode on an iPhone or iPad whenever you turn it on was the only way to ensure that you could access the device. Typically, this was enough to deter thieves and unauthorized users, but if you wanted to be extra secure, you would have to turn off your device or remove the battery. While this was an effective security measure, it was inconvenient in the case of removal, and many users would forget to turn their device back on after removing the battery, costing them access to important information when they needed it most. With the release of iOS 16.3, Apple has introduced a brand new security model that offers more convenience and flexibility than ever before. Instead of having to turn off your device or remove the battery in order to secure your data, you can now use a passcode or biometric authentication to lock down your iPhone or iPad. In order to use this feature, you will have to update your device's software to version 16.3 or later, and then register your device with a free Apple ID. From there, you can set up a passcode or use Face ID to authenticate. There are numerous benefits to this new security model, but perhaps the biggest one is that you no longer have to turn off your device in order to secure your data. This greatly reduces the risk of losing important information if your phone is stolen or misplaced, because it can still be accessed with the passcode. In the case of a lost or stolen device, the owner can always reset the passcode and regain access to their data without having to purchase a new device. Home screen enhancements. One of the areas that iOS 16.3 improves upon the most is the home screen, which now includes an all-new design as well as powerful features that make it easier than ever to get things done. The iOS 16.3 home screen now includes an overview of your daily schedule, along with a colorful, card-like design that makes it easier for you to quickly access important information. Additionally, the update gives you a full-screen design that allows you to easily access your favorite apps and games without having to swipe left or right to see them all. Along with the new design, the iOS 16.3 home screen includes several new features that make it simpler and more convenient to get things done. One of the biggest advantages is that you can now use widgets to quickly access information from social media platforms like Twitter, as well as popular news stories, without having to open your internet browser. This makes it easier to keep up with the news and social media without having to run around the house trying to find the app or browser instance that will serve the best on your iPhone. App Store enhancements. With iOS 16.3, Apple improves the user experience for people who use the App Store on a regular basis, as well as introduces better security for those who download and used unverified apps. Before the release of iOS 16.3, anyone could download and use an app that they found while using the App Store without having to verify their identity first. In some cases, this could lead to malware being installed on your device without you knowing about it. After all, the App Store is a massive collection of apps that are all completely unchecked before being downloaded and used by users. With the release of iOS 16.3, Apple addresses this security threat by including new restrictions and enforcement mechanisms that require users to verify their identity before installing an app. Additionally, if an app is downloaded from an unauthorized source, it will display a warning that states the app could contain malware. This new security model makes it more convenient and safe for people who use the App Store to get their apps and games, but also encourages them to verify their identity and keep things trustworthy. Notification Center enhancements. Notification Center on the iPhone is a hub for alerts and notifications from a variety of apps and system functions, and it has been updated to include the new features from iOS 16.3. Before the release of iOS 16.3, hitting the Home button on your iPhone would bring up the Notification Center, which acted as a hub for alerts and notifications from different apps and functions. Now, when the Home button is pressed, you are presented with a menu that allows you to quickly access important notifications and alerts from throughout your iPhone experience, no matter where you are in the app or system. This is a significant update that makes it simpler for users to stay aware of all the important things happening around them, even when they are not at their desktops or laptops. Additionally, many third-party apps have been updated with support for the new iOS security model, so you will most likely notice an improvement in the way apps work and display information on your device once you update to version 16.3 or later. For those who regularly use their phones for work, school, or play, iOS 16.3 brings many enhancements and new features that will make your life simpler and more convenient. In particular, the new security model gives you flexibility to use either a passcode or Face ID to securely lock down your device, which improves security while also cutting down on the number of times you have to enter your passcode when you turn on your phone. In addition, the design of the home screen makes it simpler to stay up to date with social media and the news without having to run around the house searching for the correct apps and browsers, as well as the widgets on the App Store make it easier for users to stay current on popular topics without needing to open multiple apps and browser windows.